Hi everyone, welcome to the JF Tech Hub once again. Today we are going to talk about how the computer works. And you'll be with me. My name is Frank and my friend here is
Justin Peter.
Yeah, we welcome you to this session because today we are going to inform you in detail how does the computer works. Without wasting time, join in our channel. Stay with us from the beginning to the end as we take you through this. Hey, Mr. Justin.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit how does the computer work?
How does the computer work? Computer work in the system of IPO. That is how computer work. I means input, P stands for processing, then O for output, and that is how the computer work. It input data, it processes them, and it provide output. So it receives the data from the user by input devices. It processes input devices. After the data to be entered into the computer, the data will be processed for the output. That is simply how computer work. Input, processes, and to provide output.
Oh yeah, seems like kind of simple. Only three processes in which the computer passes through: input, processing, and outputting. But let us know in detail this input. How do we, or how does the user put data or enter data into the computer?
The user directly interacts with input devices, as we know, computer processing input devices. So the user enter data through input devices, and the function of input devices is to encode the user's data into electrical signals. Since the computer only understands machine language, it is an electronic device, so it runs through electronic signals. So it understands only zeros and one binary digits. So what happens there, the input devices, the function of the input devices is to encode, convert users natural language to the machine language. What's happening on the background, you press the key, example press 2, but on the background, what's going on is bunches of zeros and ones. Yes, so input devices convert users' data into electrical signals so as they can be processed. Yes.
Okay. So you mean the input devices like the keyboard,
yes,
and the camera, and other input devices?
Yes, there is a lot of input devices. All the data we have a lot of types of data: text data, picture data, sound data. What happened there, those data are converted into electrical signals. Your sound, by using mic, you input your sound there. But actually your sound will be converted into electrical signal for the processing. Since computer can't understand your natural language. So what it does there, it stores your data into form of electrical signal for the processing.
Well, that's stage number one.
Okay.
Input, how a computer receives that.
Yes.
But then after receiving, what's the next step?
The next step there is processing. We have input, we have processing. After a computer to receive data, or after input devices to send the data to the CPU, to the computer, what's happening there? It is processing those data, and the processing occur on a cycle of full series steps. We have fetching, we have decoding, and we have executing. Those steps are done repeatedly through the processor CPU, that is a brain of computer. So all the process are done there. What's happening after your data to be encoded and entered into the computer? The CPU fetch for the instruction to process your data. User directly interact with input devices. We see input devices convert data into electrical signals, but directly user will interact with hardware. After to interact with hardware, he or she will interact with application software directly. If you want to use maybe camera, you open software and there is a program there which will communicate with hardware. hardware camera. You open it, you use it. So what's happening? You user, you interact with hardware, with application software, and those application software are stored into hard disk or SSD, those program sets of instruction. So once I say CPU, it fetch instruction. Where it fetch? It fetch through the RAM. What's happened there? You open you are working with what example?
For example, you're working with the Microsoft Excel.
Yes, example, you're working with Microsoft Excel. That is a program. It having the instruction. Someone program it having the instruction in it. So what's happened? You open Microsoft Excel, you enter your data. Once you open, it means RAM will be there ready to keep your data, since it is store data, or short you say that is temporary memory, working memory of computer. Once you open that program, RAM now start to store your data, user's data. You enter your data, and your data there are kept into RAM. That's why once you open that program and suddenly electricity went off, your data will get lost. RAM, we say it is working memory of computer. You open any program, directly RAM will be ready to keep your data there. Okay? For being fetched with the processor for the decoding and the execution. So we see users enter data to the computer. Example, you are using calculator to calculate some math. You open the program having the instruction, and the program were kept into hard disk. Once you open, you enter your data directly will be held on the RAM. Yes. So what's happened? The processor will fetch those data now to the RAM. Your data and the set of instruction will be fetched there to the RAM. After being fetched, what next? It will decode now those instructions. You having your numbers, you put it through, and your numbers have already converted into binary digits, and there is a set of instruction. Maybe the user press plus means adding numbers. So instruction is adding numbers. The numbers are there in form of binary, and the set of instructions are there in form of binary. So it decode, start to arrange those set of instructions in order to be executed. After there, it will direct which part now is responsible. As you know, the CPU is having 3 parts in it. So that the processor will, after to fetch and decode, it will execute now. Yes, that is how the processor does its work.
Okay. So the processing action, which is done by the processor of a computer, also has 3 stages.
Yes, 3 stages, but there is another one in addition.
Okay.
After to execute, it can store the result. It means it can fetch, decode, execute, and those results before go out to be output, it can store them.
And be stored.
Yes, for the future users, it can store them.
But let me just get you back to the point that how does the computer process the user's data? For example, 2 plus 2.
It means your data must be converted into electrical signals in order to be understood by the computer. So you press 2, you see you write 2. But what's happening on the back, it is a lot of zeros and ones. You see,
number 2.
Yes, one character is made up with 80 bits, 80 zeros and ones there. So you write 2, but the background, that 2 converted into electrical signals, zeros and ones.
All right.
Yes. So the conversion of it, we call it encoding, and it does with these input devices. The same to the pictures, camera do the same. Convert pixel into what? Into binary digits. Yes. So computer understood those kind of language, zeros and ones.
Remember, IPO.
Yes.
This is the way how computer works. I means input. P means processing. And now in the third step
is
of computer, how it works, it is outputting.
Yes.
Now, can you tell us a little bit how does the computer output this data?
We see input, we see processing, and your data are ready now to be to be given out. Yes, that is output. And what happened, as we see in input convert your data into binary digits so as the computer can understand them. So the same to the output, computer must convert the electrical signal into human readable. And then we get what? Get output. So output devices are responsible to convert those electrical signals into human readable. You see, you input your voice there, your voice converted into electrical signal, and you expect it to receive the voice after being processed. Either you are editing your voice or whatever. So you can't get your result in form of electrical signals. So the conversion of electrical signal to human readable language must be done there. That's where it came from. It came there, output devices. So what happened there? Those zeros and ones, they converted into human readable, and you get them through monitors, through speakers, through what the projectors. We got a lot of output devices. Yes.
So that's how a computer works. In short, it is through the process of input, processing, and output. We have seen a lot of input devices, but here you have told us one of the input devices, which is keyboard.
Yes, we
use
keyboard.
It is used by the user.
Convert your key press
to enter data to the computer.
Yes.
What about camera? How does it work?
The same to keyboard. The keyboard, you see it convert the key press. User press Y, press J, press 2, and those data converted into electrical signal. The same to camera. You open your camera, you took a photo. What's happening there? Pixels. Those pixels are converted to electrical signals. The same as a keyboard. You press your key press, converted into electrical signal. Yes. And after processing those electrical signal, you get the result at the pixel.
What if someone is using a microphone? Is a microphone kind of input device?
Yes, we use it to input our voice there by using microphone.
Audio format data.
Yes.
Okay, now I
and that you see, a computer is made up with just an electronic component. Nowhere having the pipe for your voice to run around there. So what's happening is just electrical signals pass through all the circuits there for being processed. So your voice must be converted into electrical signals as it can be processed here.
But we have seen there are a number of stages that are involved when the computer is working. But how does this action take place so quickly? At what speed does the processor work?
It is very fast. It is very fast. We see that it works in terms of cycle to process data. Fetching, decoding, execute. Fetching, that is a cycle. And the computer the CPU can complete billions of cycles per second. Just imagine, billions of cycles per second. It means
just imagine a second.
You can feed billions of calculations per second and it can perform. For example, here my computer CPU, it can process 3.5 billions of cycles per second. You see how fast it is.
Okay, so do you mean different computers have different ability of processing data?
Yes, the processor speed, they are different based on the ability of the processor itself. It process, yes.
Okay, that was all about in today. We have got to see how does the computer work. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this video and you have got the lesson.
Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, leave your comment. I hope you get to know much about computer. We used to use it every day just by pressing, by doing whatever, but today we know what's going on the background. So we hope you enjoy it.